culinarians. Today, I'm going to show you how to truss the pork tenderloin. When I showed you how to break it down, I was not wearing gloves. I'm going to break down this pork tenderloin. I'm going to truss this pork tenderloin, but I'm going to wear gloves. Whether you wear gloves or not, it's up to you. This isn't ready-to-eat food, so it's going to be cooked. So you don't necessarily have to wear gloves. But for this part of the video, I'm going to wear gloves just to show you. So with me, I got very large hands. I got extra large gloves. It's still very challenging for me to put on these gloves. So if your hands are like mine, or even if you have smaller hands or medium hands, and you always have challenges getting those gloves on, I'm going to show you a little trick here. I got a little bit of flour, okay? Just plain old all-purpose flour. I have it off to the side. So on my workstation, if someone comes up, I'm going to let them know that do not use this flour, okay? This flour is only for my hands. I'm going to put the flour on my hands to make it a little bit easier to get my gloves on, okay? So if any of this flour gets on the food, it's no big deal. It's just flour. You don't want to have baby powder out here, because if you get baby powder on your food, that's not going to taste very good when you go to prepare your dishes. So that's why I just use regular all-purpose flour. See? Now I'm able to get those gloves on my hands, so it's a lot better now. Trussing the pork loin. First, I got my pork loin. I already have it clean. This pork loin is a little bit too big for the pan I'm going to saute it in. So if I look at the pan, it's a little bit too large. So what I'm going to do, so I'm just going to trim off a little bit of the edges. I'm going to look, okay, that's going to fit in my saute pan now when I go to cook. Last thing you want to do is you don't want to get this too big and then it doesn't fit in your saute pan, because then the edge will turn up and it won't cook evenly. You want to make sure this cooks evenly in your pan. So I got my pork loin all trimmed. Now, that side that had the chain on it that I told you about in the first video, if you look at the one side of the tenderloin, it's nice and smooth. If you look at the other side of the tenderloin, it's a little bit rigid, okay? That's the side you're going to cut into. So I'm going to take my tenderloin, keep that piece of meat straight in front of you. Don't go side by side, don't go on an angle, keep the meat straight in front of you. I'm going to take my knife, I'm going to look about halfway into the pork. I'm going to take my knife and just start cutting it. I'm going to only cut it about 3/4 of the way. See how I choked up on my knife a little bit? Get a little bit of feel of my knife. Okay, once I got that piece of meat open, hopefully I got it cut perfectly in half, okay? Now I'm going to take my Italian sausage, I'm going to roll up the Italian sausage, I'm going to place it in the center of this pork loin. Make sure I have enough in there. Don't worry about having too much. If you have too much, when you go to truss it and roll it, it'll come out, and you just put that to the side. So I'm going to put a nice little amount of Italian sausage in here. Okay, looking good. I'm going to turn it. I'm going to roll it. It's kind of like I'm rolling my own. For those of you that roll your own cigarettes, that is, this is how you do it. Just roll your own. Just roll it right up. Okay, now that I got it rolled up, I'm going to turn it back again, straight in front of me. Now I'm going to take my twine. My butcher's twine. Now, to make sure I have enough string to do this, I'm going to measure this 8 times. So I'm going to measure the length of the pork 8 times. 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8. Now, is that a little bit too much? Yeah, it's going to be a little bit too much, but don't worry about that. When you go to truss your pork, if you have a little bit extra string, that's good. If you're trussing your pork and you end up running short on string, then you got to start all over. So I made sure I have plenty of string. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the string and I'm going to put a knot in here. I'm going to tie a knot right at the top here. Once, twice. I'm going to do it twice like that so when I pull it tight, it stays there. Okay? I'm going to tie this into a knot. When you tie this, make sure you have extra string here. You want to have a little extra string hanging out. When we get done trussing, I'll show you what that little extra string's for. Now, with your string, take your hand, okay? Have the string coming up, over the top of your thumb, over the palm of your hand, and just circle it around. Circle it around. Once you circle it around, drop it over the front of the pork loin, pull it back, give a few tugs. When you start doing these knots, you want to try to get as straight as possible down the top of this. So I got one there, over my thumb, over my palm. I just do a turn, I drop it over, pull it down. Tighten it up. Over my thumb, over my palm, circle it around, drop it. This is why it's so important. I told you earlier to have your pork straight in front of you. If you have your pork straight in front of you, notice how I'm not even moving the pork. I'm just moving the string. This way it keeps the stuffing I put inside from falling out. If you keep moving it around a lot, that stuffing's going to fall all out. So I'm going to do it one more time. Get over my palm, circle it around, drop it over the front, bring it down, tighten it up. Okay. Now I'm going to turn it over. Notice how I got this nice and tight. Got a little bit of sausage coming out. Take that, put it back in there. Now I'm going to tie underneath of the string. So what I'm going to do is I got it straight in front of me. I'm going to take the string and go underneath the first row of string here towards me. So I go underneath, pull it. This will help tighten it up from the bottom. Do the same thing with the next string. Put it underneath, tighten it up. Put it underneath, tighten it up. Underneath the last one, I'm going to tighten it up. I'm going to roll it over. That little piece of string that I said before, here it is right here. Now this extra piece of string, I'm going to tie that right on there. Okay. A little extra sausage coming out, get rid of that. A little extra string here, get rid of that. There you have it, a pork loin trussed, just like this.